Sam is going through the 7 stages of grief, after it became evident last week that he and Tiff aren't just over, they are over. He's currently in stage 4 depression. He's lying around, shirtless, wallowing in his own filth. In fact, it's so bad that when Toff visits with a basket of fresh, bought muffins, as if she were Bree from Desperate Housewives, Sam takes them and smashes his face into them. Toff bites her tongue at this, most likely upset that her careful presentation efforts have been wasted on the wretched and lovelorn man before her. Scroll down for video. Made in Chelsea, romance blossoms for Liv, Digby, Frankie, and Harry in sunny Tuscany. Then he and Louise try and force-feed him some of the mushed-up delicacies, as he has lost a whole 3 kilograms, telling him that he can't just sit around wrapped in a rug. Related articles previous. 1 next. Ewan McGregor is reunited with his beloved dog Sid following. Is Sophia the luckiest child in the UK? A life-size dolls. Keeping up with the Kardashians, Kim addresses blackface. Gigi Hadid stops to snap a selfie of her very revealing. Share this article. Share script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p20, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, $, number p20. Big share, on, click, function, dms.facebook.post Toff, related. Thankfully, remission is just a step away, because Sam happens to have purchased a random house and not bothered to live in it, so it's the ideal thing to get him back on his devastated feet. There really is nothing quite like poring over a deluxe color chart to lift the spirits. Elsewhere, Fred and Sophie are on their second date, and we all know what that means on mic, each bring a friend along. He brings Frances, she recruits Victoria. Having moved on from ice sculpting, they've gone to a life drawing class, and there's a naked man there, ready for them to sketch, naked as a thrush. Second date, Fred and Sophie are on their second date, and we all know what that means on mic, each bring a friend along. Sophie is squinting at his crotch, yet appears to bestow him with a generous phallus. As said naked man stands in position in the backdrop, the quartet discuss art. Victoria would like to be sculpted as a gold bust, while Sophie always wanted myself in a cat position with a glass table put on me and have myself as a piece of furniture. Naked. Catty style. It's all Fred can do to stop himself flinging those beautiful golden locks from one side of his face to the other, while Sophie twirls her sketching pencil. Liv is gushing about how much of a gentleman Digby is, which surely means by Christmas one of them will have cheated on the other. His furious sister is still tagging along, inexplicably. "You guys are getting very friendly," she says, without moving her face. Liv gets a text informing her that Sam won't be coming on the holiday they specifically booked for him, and so Liv invites Frankie, and Molly the sister because she's sat right there and to not ask her would be awkward. Smitten, but for how long? Liv is gushing about how much of a gentleman Digby is, which surely means by Christmas one of them will have cheated on the other. She jumps at the opportunity, thrilled that she can continue to watch every move her brother makes with his new lover and silently seethe about it. Clad in what looks like the kind of foil sheeting marathon runners are made to wrap around themselves when they cross the finish line but are suffering from exhaustion, Mimi struts around a corner where Victoria is standing with Sophie. All she's lacking is an isotonic drink and a Mars bar. She says hi to the girls, and there is a stony silence, literally as a church bell tolls in the background. Any minute now, Tumbleweed will blow past and thwack Mimi in the eye. She avoids this by trotting off, leaving the girls to compare her to a roll of Bacco foil turkey sheeting. Over in Tuscany, Frankie has been lumbered with Digby's bitter sister, while he gets to fly around in a hot air balloon with Liv. Over in Tuscany, Frankie has been lumbered with Digby's bitter sister, while he gets to fly around in a hot air balloon with Liv. Because her brother and Liv are airbound, Molly turns her attentions to Frankie and Harry. "You two should really start going out with all this flirting," she says, like a proprietorial schoolgirl. She is absolutely livid at life. Mimi just happens to be in the market for an antique lamp at the same time as Fred and Francis, and so bumps into them in a shop. She then uses the opportunity to talk about how she likes to keep Sophie at arm's length and that if Fred chooses to date her she is likely to cut him in his sleep or, failing that, kill him. Francis goes straight to Sophie to inform him of this backshot and her pupils dilate to pure black. Proud Locke has sent Sam to see Michael Searway, the UK's most sought-after and highest-paid life coach. The session is a little bit Death Becomes Her, set in a postmodern, metallic, and leather room, complete with a mysteriously boarded-up fireplace. Isabella Rossellini strutting past in backless gold dress with a jaguar on a leash wouldn't look out of place, to be honest. He sooses out Sam and tells him he is a girl and a baby and that he must move into his empty abandoned house and erase that TW tattoo that he has on his arm. Strange inking, as one awful tribute is eradicated, another is born, as Ryan gets the word Louise inked on his inner wrist, in what looks like the Lucida font from Microsoft Word. Sam takes his advice and moves into his house, which is next door to Louise's and is an exact replica, only with sage walls in the kitchen, Dulux number 34772, Olive Garden. He then goes to get his TW tattoo dealt with, covering it up with an even worse one, of a feather that looks oddly like a penis. As one awful tribute is eradicated, another is born, as Ryan gets the word Louise inked on his inner wrist, in what looks like the Lucida font from Microsoft Word. Proud Locke and Sam practically have to hold a gun to his head to do it, but the forced sentiment is real. Back in Italy, Frankie and Harry are already on ice cream eating dates, making sure the delicious treats spill out over the sides of the little tubs so that they can lick it up sensually in front of one another. Molly is of course loitering around with her own much smaller, much more passive-aggressive tub, fuming like an irritated supervisor on a Year 8 school trip. La Dolce Vita, back in Italy, Frankie and Harry are already on ice cream eating dates. She later has a quiet word of warning with Digby, because she has heard on the grapevine that Liv gets bored easily. These two call each other Mose and Diggs and it makes them sound like they are a double act on CBBC that airs between the Queen's Nose and Biker Grove. On their truffle hunting date, Frankie brings up Jamie to Harry and announces that he is the first person in her life to reject her. Way to make the rest of us feel like an ectomycorrhizal fungi, Frankie. Back in Chelsea, Sophie and Mimi get into a spat in front of Toff, Fred and Francis, forcing them to waft over to the bar and bite down on their straws anxiously. Mimi claims Sophie is fake and that she dropped her like a hot potato wrapped in tin foil, aka Mimi's puffer jacket. That's large coming from a little man thief like yourself, Sophie bites back, instructing Mimi not to go up against her. Sophie, you're 30, is Mimi's desperate reply as Sophie struts away, waving a dismissive hand in her face, her eyes now jet black and pure crystalline. Cat fight, Mimi claims Sophie is fake and that she dropped her like a hot potato.